Okay. Okay, we are live. Hi, I am Jesse Eisenberg. I'm in the movie Now You See Me Too, which is out in cinemas now. And I'm also, currently in the offices of Facebook, and I am live on Facebook, apparently. And I have questions that are on paper, which seems like something of a great distant past, but these are from Facebook, which is a current thing. And then I'm also going to be getting questions on Facebook, which is even more current because they're coming in live. But so I've been asked questions here, so I'll start answering these, and then once we get questions in on the computer thing, we will put the paper away like the world has, and go to the computer thing. So, so a lot of questions about Dan Radcliffe here, so we'll put those in a group. Because Daniel Radcliffe is in Now You See Me Too. He was not in the first one, but he's in this one. And he kind of plays like the villain in this movie. So if you grew up with him, like probably most people our age did, with him as like your boyhood hero and your child, protagonist, I think you will be really wonderfully surprised to see him in this movie playing this kind of villainous, evil, sociopathic guy. He's phenomenal. I remember the first scene that we filmed with him. It was like he had like a 5-page monologue, which is like a very long thing in a movie. It's like a long speech. He did the first one so perfectly well that we were all shocked. And like the other actors in the scene, it was like me and Woody Harrelson, Dave Franco, Lizzie Kaplan, Mark Ruffalo. We were all so shocked because he was the newbie in the movie. It was his his first time on set with us that we were so impressed. We kind of all turned to each other and thought we really have to do better, and we didn't. Let me think. Okay, what else? What is it like having Woody Harrelson play two characters in Now You See Me Too? Was he twice as annoying? Okay, well, I don't think he's annoying, but he does have like a certain kind of unusual presence. He is like a very intense guy and very funny, and he was so funny in his first role that having him play two was even, yes, I guess annoying in the sense that he's annoying to my character. Like my character and his character don't really get along. This is actually our third movie together. We were in Zombieland together as well, and we kind of don't get along in all of these movies together, but in person we obviously really do get along, which is why we like working together. And he's incredible in Now You See Me Too. I think he is like the best part of the movie because he plays two characters and they're so very different from each other, and you have to see it to kind of understand. He kind of plays him and well, I can't give it away, but there's two versions of him, and I don't want to give it away, but it's great. Okay, wait, so let me see if I get any questions here. Okay, where is Isla Fisher in this film? She's not. Okay, and then what happened to Isla Fisher? Okay, and then somebody in Russian, hi, which is just a nice compliment. Okay, so hi. Spasiba. Isla Fisher, okay, she was in the first Now You See Me, then she got pregnant in real life, and so she couldn't be in the second one, so we had to restructure the story a little bit, and Lizzie Kaplan plays the part that she would have played. It's obviously a different character, different name, different person, but she is the fourth horseman, Lizzie Kaplan is, and she is phenomenal. Isla was wonderful too. Lizzie is phenomenal in this movie. She more than holds her own. I mean, she's fantastic and very funny. Okay. How are tricks done? CG or genuine magic? From Matthew Walker. So the tricks in Now You See Me are both realistic and computer generated. We tried to do everything as realistic as possible because we thought it would be just better looking. It's a strange thing doing a movie about magic because magic, when it's done in person, shows you things that you can't believe to be real. But in movies, we're so used to seeing things that can't be real, like cities blowing up or people flying around. And so when you're doing a movie about magic, it's a little strange and difficult because you're trying to show something that can't be real in person, but in a movie where we're already used to seeing such extravagant things. So we tried to do everything realistic so it looked better, so it looked like the actors who are performing this magic are actually struggling to do this kind of stuff. And then we would also do the same scenes with computer effects, and they would be able to intercut both. So some of the shots within a given scene are real, and some of the shots within, again, a given scene are computer generated. And we just edit it to make it look as good and realistic as possible. That said, the actors in the movie, we all had to go to like 2 weeks of magic boot camp so we can learn how to do this stuff. So all the actors every day like went to I don't know, like we met with like these three incredible magicians. Woody Harrelson plays like a mentalist. He can like read minds in the movie. So he studied with an Irish mentalist, Keith Barry, and I studied with a card close-up magician named Andre Geek and Blake Voigt to learn this stuff. Dave Franco throws cards, so he learned how to not only throw cards, but he can like slice a banana with a card. He can find your card in the deck and then like it can get sucked into his mouth. He's incredible. So we all learned this kind of stuff. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions here. Oh, I see it's going down. I saw David Copperfield help with this. Was the card hiding business? Wait, I want to read this to myself before, because in case they said something that's inappropriate. What's your favorite magic trick during the film? And then Anas Herati just said good. Okay. But my favorite magic trick, and then please say hi to my daughter Casey. She loves you. Okay. Hi, Casey. I don't know how I feel about you yet, but I appreciate the love. My favorite magic trick on set was my character makes it rain and then makes it stop raining in midair, like makes the rain pause. And when I read the script, I thought, well, we can't do this because everything we do in the movie should be realistic, should be able to be done. And then the producer showed me, or the director showed me on YouTube, somebody who can actually do this. You can actually make the rain appear like it's paused, and it requires like some equipment. You have to have like a rain machine and a strobe light, and if you sync up the strobe light to the rain machine, it can actually make the rain, which is coming down, appear as though it's paused and then appear as though it's going up. It's the most incredible trick. We did it in Greenwich in London, and it's beautiful, and it's my favorite trick in the movie, not only because it's so interesting and complicated, but also because it's beautiful to look at. So it's not just a trick that is confusing or confounding, but it's actually a beautiful looking image. Okay, let's see. Isaac Stevens wants a shout out. Okay, that seems not relevant. Okay. Do you perform at children's parties as well? Oh, right. No, but I think you're being sarcastic, but my mother was a birthday party clown growing up. I mean, me growing up, not her growing up. And so she performed at children's birthday parties for her job. And whenever she was sick or busy, she would ask her friend to do the show instead, and her friend was a magician, Bruce. So this guy Bruce performed at every party that my mom couldn't do, and so I grew up going to this guy Bruce's magic shows when I was younger, and I was always so frustrated by not knowing how he did the tricks, because he would always say the same thing. I would ask him, how did you do that? How did you pull the rabbit out of the hat? Which was one of his tricks, and he would always say the same thing. He would say, can you keep the secret? I would say, yes, and he would say, great, so can I, and he would never tell me anything. And so when I read the script for Now You See Me, I thought, this is so wonderful. I can not only do this great movie, but I can also kind of learn how to do all the stuff that I was denied as a child. So doing this movie is like, I don't know, getting to meet Santa Claus or something. Like I was able to like fulfill all my childhood dreams. So thank you for your sarcastic question, which I gave a real answer for. Who's your favorite magician in real life? I love these guys, Penn and Teller. They're very popular in America. I don't know if they're known here, but I love them because they're similar to Now You See Me in that they kind of reveal to the audience how their tricks are done, but it doesn't make their tricks any less amazing. Like, so in Now You See Me, we kind of reveal to the audience, like you're kind of with us watching the movie, kind of figuring out how to do these tricks that we do. And I think what's amazing about the magic that we do in Now You See Me is like that even though they're tricks, we actually tell the audience how they're done, and they're actually still amazing because you realize the work and the thought that went into them. So it's not like revealing how they're done ruins it. I think it actually enhances it. And Penn and Teller do that too, and I love them. They're so funny and clever, and they do tricks and then kind of tell you how they're done, and they kind of like deconstruct magic. And they make magic this thing that's not this kind of strange, aloof sorcery. They make it this thing that anybody can learn how to do. And it's just a really fun way to perform. Okay. Did you do a magic movie before? No. Jess Louise wants a shout out as well. Okay, that seems like what this is turning into. Who is the best at magic? From Matthew Knowles. Okay, the best at magic by far is Dave Franco. He's incredible with these cards. Like, he can literally do a lot of this stuff his character does in the movie, whereas like my character is obviously a much better magician than I am. And also, Woody Harrelson is really good at mind reading. He is a very persuasive guy. Woody is like the kind of guy that, like, in the middle of the night will wake you up and say, like, hey, let's go, you know, parachute off a bridge. And you'll say, like, well, that seems like a horrible idea. And then in an hour, you're on the bridge with a parachute. Like, he's just a very persuasive guy. He's very charming. He has big blue eyes, which can be trick, which can be like a very, I don't know, can make you do some stupid things. So like, he's great at mentalism, and he's great as this character in this movie. And I think he also kind of like took on the spirit of his character of being somebody who is like able to read minds. And for some reason, he got really good at it. Okay, let's see what else. Fahad Mustafa said, "How can I join the cast?" Well, the movie's already been made, so it would require so many tricks and time machines. If you could magic yourself into a specific time and place, where and when would it be? Oh, saw the film last night. It was amazing. From Laura Millard. Thanks, Laura. If you could learn one trick from any of the films, which would you choose? Well, I like the idea of the mind reading, but I also find it terrifying. I guess you probably wouldn't want to know what other people are thinking about you, because you'd probably just hear all sorts of weird, confusing things, like, why does his hair look like that? Paige Jennifer Morrison Tinson. It's a lot of names. Who is your favorite actor? Well, I watched your show, The Office, with Ricky Gervais, the English show, and like I'd never seen acting like that. Something that was so funny but so strange and dark. And I used to watch him on slow motion to see what his face was doing, because as an actor I was like curious, like, what is he doing? How does he do it? How is he able to make something so funny and so real at the same time? I'd never seen anybody do that before. And so I'm doing a play in London now called The Spoils, and I was writing the play like right after I saw The Office, and I was thinking a lot about that character. My play is very different. I don't think you would see many similarities, but I was kind of trying to channel that kind of humor where the character's saying something so horrible and offensive and strange, but somehow you feel for them because it looks like the actor feels for their character. I thought it was such an interesting performance that he gave. Jade Samantha Rose Finn, who is your favorite superhero? Well, I play a villain in the superhero movies, and so I hate them all. Because my character hates them all. So, everybody's boyhood, hero is Superman, but my character and I as an actor have to think about all the things I hate about Superman. So I have like a very reverse feeling about superheroes than probably most people in the world, especially if you're a sane, healthy person. You probably look up to Superman, you think it's amazing. Like, I have to think about all the horrible things about Superman. So I don't really have a favorite superhero. I probably have a favorite villain, which is Lex Luthor, because I think, like, well, here's a guy who's like trying his best, and no one understands him. Speaking of that, who would win a battle of the mind, Lex Luthor or Danny Atlas? Well, they're both, I would say, ambitious, driven people, but Lex Luthor has no empathy, or he has empathy, but I would say kind of like a skewed psychopathic version of empathy, so he'd probably win just because he wouldn't sleep, whereas my character Atlas and Now You See Me, I think, would probably at least take a nap. Shout out to me, please, from Meg O'Leary, and then face, hands up, hand raising hand, hands up, hand raising hand, hands up. Okay, what's your favorite song at the moment? I don't have like songs of the moment. I don't have like that kind of thing. I like musical theater from the 90s, so I probably can't please you with that. But I like maybe Stephen Sondheim, early 80s Stephen Sondheim. I suspect that's not what you were hoping for with your question. What's your favorite food? Has anyone ever told you look like Wentworth Miller? How different was it from Batman, Superman, than Now You See Me? Why are you not called the Four Goatmen instead of the Four Horsemen? Okay, all good questions. I'm going to go to the paper. What magicians were your inspiration for the film? Well, we worked with, and then also, what's the most artistic photo on your phone? Okay, we'll go with the magician one. David Copperfield, I imagine he's known here. In America, he's like our most famous kind of Las Vegas magician. He's like one of the producers of the movie, so we used a lot of tricks inspired by his magic. And also, I like, well, there's this guy, David Blaine, who I know, he's like this kind of, I would say, revolutionized what we think of as like street magic. Street magic being like the kind of thing like where a magician like walks up to people on the street and does some amazing trick with no equipment. And David Blaine like revolutionized that. He made it really cool. And in Now You See Me, I think we're trying to do a similar thing, trying to make like magic modern and cool, and trying to make magic not something that you see like with a kind of, I don't know, a cheesy show, you know, with red velvet capes and stuff like that. Trying to make magic something real and cool, and it is, but it requires, like, I would say, a recontextualization, a reimagining, and that's what we did with this movie. I think David Blaine did a similar thing. All right, let's see. American Ultra was a decent film. How did you feel about playing a stoner? Great. It's like the most enjoyable thing to play is a stoner. In American Ultra, my character is like a sweet, stoned kid who becomes like a CIA agent and a fighter. And it was really, I don't know, comfortable to play that role because I like playing characters that are like, I don't know, just different from me, I guess, because it allows you to, like, I don't know, just think about other people and get into the skin of somebody else. And in American Ultra, my character is like a kind of a sweet, slow stoner. And as you could see from this live chat thing, I'm a very fast-speaking, quick-thinking person, so I really like dialing it back and doing that differently. I guess it's similar to playing a villain. I'm not like a mean person or even that confident a person, so it's great to play a character that I feel like is so different than me. Because it's this weird thing that happens, like, after you play a character for, like, 14 hours a day on a movie set for months, you end up just thinking like them a little bit. So when I'm playing a villain or something, I don't think like a villain, because obviously I'm not a crazy person, but I end up thinking about, I don't know, I think I'm, like, more confident than I am. I think about, like, that character believes he's, like, the, I don't know, most important person on the planet, and I feel like a little bit of that confidence, I guess. And then similarly playing a stoner in like American Ultra, like you feel like a little bit more relaxed and a little bit like looking at the world in a more interested way, a little more observant rather than active. Do you plan to take the spoils to another city, or you will work on your next play? This is from Gohar Bagramian. Hope I'm saying that right. Yeah, so I'm doing this play, The Spoils, here in Trafalgar Studios, and no, it was like such a privilege to get to do the play here. We did it in New York last year, and I was so honored to be able to like take it here. I'd like to do the play again. I'd probably do it anywhere they asked me to do it. I was so happy that they asked me to do it in London and not, I don't know what would be a worse city, but London's so beautiful, so I was so happy to be here. Sylvia de Weidenthal has given me a thumbs up. Okay, guess we don't understand the question-answer section of the day. Who is your favorite actor to work with and why? Well, this is from Katrina Sanson. I've done 3 movies with 2 people. I did 3 movies with Woody Harrelson and 3 movies with Kristen Stewart, and so I guess they're my favorite. I've worked with them more than anybody, and I love them. Kristen, and they're both maybe so different than me, which is maybe why we work together well. Kristen's kind of slow and sweet and thoughtful, and I'm kind of like overbearing and talkative, and so we get along. And Woody's similar. Woody's talkative, but he's, I would say, a little like kind of more relaxed than me, and so we get along really well, and I love those people. And yeah, Kristen and I did a movie called Cafe Society, I think, which comes out next month, and that's our 3rd movie, and yeah, very lucky to work with those people. You should bring The Spoils to the Edinburgh Fringe. Okay, thank you very much. What's up, Roman? All right. Okay. How is it doing Now You See Me 2 without Isla Fisher? And then a smiley face. I'll start with the smiley face. I think, wait, sorry. Okay, and then I'll go to Nicola Marshall. Without Isla Fisher, yeah, initially it was very sad because we loved her and she was so great and she was like a core part of the team. And then after, we got over the sadness, then we were kind of like, still missing her, but very happy that Lizzie Kaplan could step in and do a role and do such justice with it. She was so wonderful in it. Nicola Marshall said, what advice would you give aspiring actors? Well, okay, I don't really know, because every actor's path is different. It's not like being a lawyer where you go to law school and, do paralegal work at a law firm, or like my father, who was a professor and had to get a PhD in order to teach in America. Actors' paths are always different. Some people go to acting school, but a lot of people go to acting school, don't wind up doing it as a career, because it's such a weird career path. But my advice to aspiring actors would be that if you like to do it without an audience, if you like to do it without the prospects of fame and money, then you should do it. Because most likely you will wind up not famous and not with money. It's like a tiny sliver of actors who can make a living from it, or let alone get like famous or whatever. My favorite thing to do as an actor, my favorite thing in the world, is to finish writing a play, which I write, and then do a little reading of it. Just reading from the script with friends for the first time around a table with no audience. My least favorite thing as an actor to do is do an opening night of a play where famous people are in the audience and critics. That is so unnerving and anxiety-producing for me that it's almost feels like it's not worth it. So my favorite thing to do as an actor is to rehearse a play, to do it when there's no one watching, and that tells me that I'm acting because I like acting, not because I like the kind of, let's say, extravagance around it. And I think that's my advice. If you like doing it for its own sake, then you should pursue it, because it means that when not a lot of people are watching you, you're still enjoying it, and that means you'll be good at it. You're doing it for the right reasons. I think if you like the kind of glamour of it, I would not pursue it. It most likely will not happen. And the people that I know who I went to acting school with, who wanted to be famous, who in acting school were talking about winning Oscar awards or whatever, or the BAFTA awards or whatever, as you have them, they never worked. It never happened for them. I think there's this strange inverse relationship between expectations and success. I don't know why that is. Do you watch Game of Thrones? I've seen some of Game of Thrones. One of the actors in my play is Alfie Allen, and when the casting people pitched him to me as an actor, I had never seen him. I Googled Game of Thrones. I thought, my lord, this guy's a phenomenal actor, but totally wrong for the part in my play. And then I watched him read a scene from my play, and I thought, my goodness, he's just a phenomenal actor. He could do anything. He is incredible. He's in the show with me now. He plays this character on Game of Thrones, which is this really severe character. But in the play, he plays this kind of sweet Wall Street banker, kind of a sweet frat boy. And he's just incredible. What a talented actor to be able to do something totally different and do both so well that you can't imagine them doing the other part. Do you love your job? Yes, I love your job. Yes, I for the most part. Matthew Mole, what is it like to be on The Last Leg? Well, I'd never heard of The Last Leg or seen The Last Leg, but these guys are so funny and so great. I didn't realize that the guy, I was not aware of what the show was titled for. But they're so wonderful. I was on The Last Leg, I think the day after Joe Cox was killed here in England, and so they had a tough job because they're a comedy show, but they have to talk about things that are happening in the news. So I wasn't sure how they were going to address such a horrible tragedy in a kind of funny way. And they did it so well. They were so respectful of a horrible tragedy and were able to kind of contextualize this difficult political discussion in a funny way, paying respects to this horrible tragedy that occurred, 12 hours before. How long did it take you to master the snap change at the beginning of Now You See Me? This is from Danusan Sivanesan. So I do this trick in the beginning of Now You See Me where I'm showing a card to the audience and then I snap my fingers and the card changes, and that's done realistically. That wasn't computers or anything. And it took me 4 weeks to get this tiny split-second trick. Because it's so hard, and all of the little tricks in Now You See Me are the ones that are the most difficult to learn. Excuse me. And all of the tricks that are these big, extravagant, making the rain stop, making a plane fly, all of these big tricks that are so extravagant and beautiful looking are actually the easiest to learn because they usually require equipment and not kind of just practicing a hand motion, over and over 8 hours a day for 4 weeks. So yeah, that was the longest. That was the longest trick. Would you come back to London next year? Yes, of course. What advice would you give to a writer? Well, I guess the same that I would give to an actor. If you like doing it, with the assumption that no one is going to read it, you should write. I write everything with the assumption that no one will ever read it. I'm frequently right, but I I write it always for myself, and then I hope that I like enough things that other people like so that they'll like my thing. But I'm writing like a 6,000 word essay now for a magazine, and I was trying to figure out, I was supposed to write like about as a short story, fictional account of a fictional account of something I've actually done, but fictionalized, and it took me like a month to kind of figure out what I was writing, and I was trying to kind of please the magazine. And then once I stopped thinking about pleasing the magazine and started thinking about what I would want to read, I was able to write the story. And so the story is not something that I would think the magazine is going to be very happy with, but it's something that I really want to read. And it's better for it. And so maybe you have like a narrower audience, but an audience who likes your thing that much more. Okay, I think one more question. Favorite part to film? Will you write something that style like Now You See Me? Oh, well, this is actually a really nice question. Will you write something in the style of Now You See Me? Because I write plays and I write books, and now I wrote a TV series. I will never be able to write something like Now You See Me because the people who write Now You See Me are just thinking in a different way. They are so clever in a kind of plot-driven, magic trick way. They're also good with characters, but I would say the main thing about Now You See Me, like when I read Now You See Me, I really wanted to do it because I thought this is something I would never be able to think of on my own. My plays are very much like my life. They talk about things that I'm very interested in. But Now You See Me to me is like this incredibly, it's like putting together a puzzle. It's like it's like making a video game or something, like where they have to think of all these pieces that can fit together, all these characters that can work together to create something that not only brings the audience along for a ride, but also tricks them in the end. And it's like putting together like a great riddle. And I don't know how people's minds work who do that. I guess it's like the mind of a magician, and my mind just doesn't work that way. And I'm so honored to be a part of a movie like Now You See Me, which I think gets at the best of what human minds can do. They can both tantalize, trick, and also invite you in. So I'm so happy to be a part of it, and unfortunately I probably would never be able to think like that. So, okay, thank you so much for going on the internet or wherever you're watching this. I imagine you're watching this on the internet and not like at, I don't know, like when I don't know, in America we have these stores where they sell televisions, and like, homeless people, and also when I didn't have a TV, would like stand outside the store to watch TV. I imagine you're not there. I imagine you're watching this online. So, okay, thank you for going on the internet, which you're probably going to do anyway, so, okay, not big deal there. But, and submitting your very sweet, generous questions. I hope you like Now You See Me too as much as I did, and that's it. I don't have any other things to say.